Hey everyone, we are just 1 or 2 minutes early, so I'm going to wait before I begin our sequence today. I'm Erin. This is Megan. She's in tie-dye today.
I am.
She's feeling wild. This is my 17, almost
18.
She's getting old.
I am. True story.
All right.
Goodbye.
We are going to practice a migraine sequence today, which is a regular vinyasa flow. However, I included and interwove, is that a word? I don't even know. I wove into the sequence many poses that will help relieve headaches and migraines. There's a lot of shoulder blade opening, spine opening, and some inversions. Don't get scared. We're not going all the way upside down. And I just wove them into the sequence, and it really is an amazing sequence that I love. I've been using it for several months. I chose it today not because I have a migraine, but because I thought a lot of people would benefit from it. The people that I have shared it with have had great feedback for me, so I figured I'd put it out there on a Saturday class. So we are going to get started. If this is your first time with me, welcome. You are doing this class at your own risk. I'm not there to help you or modify, so please listen to your body. If something hurts, back out. Yoga should never hurt. You might feel some discomfort if you're using muscles you have not used in a long time. That's okay if it's tightness or something, but if there's a sharp pain, please stop. That's not safe for your body, and you always want to listen to your body. So we are going to begin today on our backs. So let's get down on our mats. Closing your eyes, taking a few deep cleansing breaths, thinking about why you tuned in today, what your body needs today, focusing on those things and anything else that might be floating around inside of your head. Set it on the side of your mat. For the next hour, let's just focus on why you came. Reality is the mirror of your thoughts. Choose well what you put in front of the mirror. Bringing your legs to your chest. Give your knees a nice hug. Then extend the right leg out. Lift the shoulders and the head if it's comfortable. And we are going to do some leg darts. So switching, making sure you're breathing. Your belly button is pulled towards your spine. One more each way. And then placing the feet on the mat, knees are up, feet are hip distance apart, arms are at your sides. We're going to lift the hips, roll up onto the shoulder blades, come back down, inhale the hips up, exhale down, continue with your own breath. One more. Clasping your hands and bringing them behind your head, lifting your shoulders off the floor. Bringing your knees up, and we're coming into yoga bicycles. So opposite elbow to opposite knee, and your other leg extends out straight. Making sure you're breathing. One more each way. Hug your knees. And then we will do bridge flow one more time. So bringing one knee in and the other leg out, lifting the shoulders if it feels good, and then switching. Did I say bridge flow?
You good?
I meant leg darts, I'm sorry. Bridge flow's next. One more each way. And hug the knees. And now prepare for bridge flow. Sorry about that. Hands to the sides, feet are hip distance apart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Keeping that core tight, belly button towards the spine. Next one, when you come up, hold. Take a few breaths here. And relax. Rolling onto your right side. Coming up into a table. Hands are under your shoulders. Knees are under your hips. We're coming into cat and cow. So we're going to inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, round to the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Continuing with your own breath. One more time each way. Coming back to neutral spine. And then we will lift the right arm and the left foot for spinal balance. Bring it down. And then switch, left arm, right foot. If this is challenging, you can always do one arm and then the opposite leg, other arm, and the opposite leg. So we'll flow with the breath, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down, continuing with your own breath. Making sure your core is engaged, your belly button is towards your spine, you're breathing evenly. One more each way. And sink back into child's pose. This is one of our resting poses, and you can do this pose in a few different ways. Knees can be together and arms out in front. Knees can be wide, toes are still together in the back, arms out in front. Or you can bring your arms to the side by your feet if that feels better. You can come to this pose anytime during our practice today. If you need a break from one of our rotations and sun salutations, just hang out in child's pose and catch back up when you're ready. From here, we're going to pull forward to a kneeling plank, lowering for crocodile, dropping the belly and lifting the chest for baby cobra, and pressing back for child's pose. Inhale forward for plank, exhale, crocodile. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Again, pulling forward, lowering, lifting the chest, and pressing back. Warming up the whole body here. Again, pulling forward, lowering, lifting the chest, and pressing back. One more time. Inhaling forward, exhale, lowering. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, child's pose. From here, we'll flip the toes, press the hips into the air, pedal the feet a few times, warming up the back of the legs, and then stepping your feet towards your hands, reversing your swan dive, and coming back to mountain. We're about to start our sun salutations. I will do 2 modified on either side, on each side, and then move into full postures. You can stick with the modifications if you want to when we move into full postures, or just take one if you need, whatever you need. Just listen to your body. And we will begin. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling, folding, hinging from the hips, stepping back with the right leg onto the knee for a low lunge. Bringing the hands down, left leg comes around, sinking back, pulling forward to plank, lowering crocodile, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, baby cobra, and pushing back for child's pose. Right leg comes forward for the low lunge. Hands come down to the mat, feet together. Reversing the swan dive, coming into chair. Again, sweeping the arms up, folding, hinging from the hips, stepping back with the right again onto the knee. Hands come down, left leg comes around, sinking back. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, lifting the chest and pressing back. Right leg comes forward, low lunge. Hands come down to the mat, feet together, reversing the swan dive, and chair. Switching sides, still modified. Sweeping the arms up, folding, stepping back with the left side for the low lunge. Hands come down, right leg comes around, sinking back, pulling forward, lowering, lifting the chest, pressing back. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reversing the swan dive and coming into chair. One more modified on this side. Folding, stepping back with the left. Low lunge. Hands come to the mat, right leg comes around, sinking back. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile. Dropping the belly and lifting the chest and pressing back. Left leg comes forward for the low lunge. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reversing the swan dive and chair. Moving into full postures and switching back to the right. Hinging from the hips, folding, stepping back with the right. Option to drop to the knee. Hands come to the mat. Left leg comes back, we're in downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile. Flipping the toes for upward dog. Pressing the hips up for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. High lunge. Hands come to the mat. Feet together. Reverse the swan dive. And chair. Again, sweeping the arms up. Folding, hinging from the hips. Stepping back with the right. High lunge. Hands come to the mat. Left leg comes back. Floating forward. Lowering. Flipping the toes. Flipping them back and pressing up for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reversing the swan dive, and chair. Again, sweeping the arms up, folding, hinging from the hips, stepping back with the right, high lunge. Hands come to the mat, left leg comes back. We're in downward dog, floating forward for plank, lowering crocodile. Maybe dropping the belly and lifting the chest for cobra instead of upward dog. Pressing the hips back, downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the right. Hands come down, left leg comes back. We're in downward dog, floating forward for plank, crocodile, upward dog, hinging back for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reverse the swan dive, and chair. One more on this side, then we switch sides. Folding, right leg back. Hands come down, left leg comes back. We're in downward dog, pulling forward. Plank, crocodile, upward dog, downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive. And chair. Switching sides, sweeping the arms up, folding. Left leg comes back. I don't know about you, but I'm sweating. Hands come down. Right leg comes back. We're in downward dog. Pulling forward plank, crocodile, upward dog, downward dog. Left leg comes forward. These sun salutations always get me. And they're supposed to. They're supposed to bring heat to your body. Feet together, reverse, and chair. Again, sweeping the arms up, folding, stepping back with the left, making sure our body's nice and warm and ready for work. Right leg comes back, floating forward, lowering, flipping the toes, flipping them back, pressing the hips up. Left leg comes forward. Hands come down, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. Hands come to the mat, right leg comes back. Floating forward, lowering, flipping the toes, flipping them back, pressing up. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reversing the swan dive and chair. Sweeping the arms up, folding, stepping back with the left. Hands come to the mat, right leg comes back. Always an option to stay here if you need a break. Flipping forward, lowering, maybe lifting the chest, hinging back to downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Listen to your body and take whatever options you need. Hands come down, feet together. Reversing the swan dive and chair. One more. We can do it. Folding, stepping back with the left. Hands come down, right leg comes back. We're in downward dog. Floating forward, plank, crocodile, upward dog, downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Awesome. Get a drink. We're nice and warm now. Ready for some work. All right. So we're going to start, just before we begin, I want to let you know, a lot of the next sequence is going to be in downward dog and using our shoulders and our arms. If you need a break, drop down onto your knees or into child's pose. Take a break and then join us again. Holding those downward dog and dolphin poses for a while is challenging. So do what you can and listen to your body, okay? Sweeping the arms up, folding, stepping back into downward dog. Getting a nice downward dog position here. Pressing your hips up. Your ears are between your shoulders. And from here, we're going to lift the right leg. Take a few deep breaths. Bring that leg back down. Lift the left. Bring that foot back down. Lift to the right. And bring that down. Lift to the left. One more time, right foot. You guys are doing great. Bring it back down and left. Bring your foot back, drop to your knees, come into child's pose. Maybe bring your hands by your feet now to relieve those shoulders. Bring the arms back out in front. Flipping your toes, coming back up into downward dog. And now, if it feels good, you're going to raise one arm behind you for a one arm downward dog. Bring it back down. If it doesn't feel good, just stay in downward dog. You could also drop to your knees and raise your arm up. That'll relieve a lot of pressure on your shoulders because you'll be using your knees to help with that. Bring that other arm back down. We'll do that one more time. First arm up. These inversions are very good for headache. That's why I have a lot of them in this sequence. And switch. Brings a fresh supply of blood to your brain, which you need when you're trying to clear out tension and pain. And drop to your knees, come back into child's pose. So while you're in child's pose, I'm going to show you a couple of modifications that you can do if downward dog holding that is too hard for too long. You can just be in table. Lift your leg and bring it down. And then if we're doing arms, lift your arm. You're not going to get the full benefits of the inversion, but you're still getting a great workout without hurting yourself and overdoing it, okay? So coming on up onto your knees. Your knees are about hip distance apart. We're going to come into camel or modified camel. We'll start with modified and we'll move to the full pose if you are ready. Placing your hands on the small of your back, rolling your shoulders open, leaning back for a little back bend here. Making sure you can breathe. And if you want to try full, you reach back, grab your heels, making sure you can still breathe. And then placing your hands back on the small of your back, supporting yourself up, and coming into child's pose again. From here, we are going to come up onto a table, drop onto your forearms and clasp your hands. Step your feet back, move up a little bit. Step your feet back, so we are now in a forearm plank. And press the hips up to come into dolphin. Float forward, forearm plank. Press back for dolphin. Float forward, plank. One more time, dolphin. And plank. And drop those knees, bring those arms back. Flipping your toes under, putting your hands in front of you, pressing up and bringing your feet towards your hands, reversing your swan dive, and coming into mountain again. Grab a drink of water, we'll move on to the next section. That was a challenging shoulder section. Megan's shaking her head at me. It's okay, it's good for us, right? All right. From here, we are going to swan dive into a forward fold. I want you to keep soft knees, and then we're going to grab a hold of our big toes and pull up on them so that it opens the shoulder blades in the back, okay? So sweeping the arms up, hinging from the hips, coming forward. Grab a hold of those big toes and pull up on the big toes while you're pressing down with your feet and feel those shoulder blades open. Taking nice deep breaths. Release the toes, reverse the swan dive. Bring the arms up, keep them extended above, and come into chair with arms up. Good. Again, sweeping the arms up, folding, hinging from the hips, grabbing the big toes, pulling up on the toes while pressing down with the feet. Releasing the toes, reversing the swan dive. Arms are extended, coming into chair with a nice straight back. Bringing the arms up again, folding forward, grabbing the toes. Releasing the toes, reversing the swan dive. Bring the palms together, coming down into chair and twisting to one side, looking up at the ceiling towards your elbow of the raised arm, if this feels good. Otherwise, stay straight. Coming back to center, sweeping the arms up, folding, hinging from the hips, grabbing the big toes. Releasing the toes, reversing the swan dive. Palms come together, coming down into chair, twisting to the opposite side and looking up if able. Coming back to center, sweeping the arms up, and coming back to mountain. Great job. Next, we'll do our balance poses. We're going to do eagle today. Eagle is a great one for stretching out the shoulders and opening those shoulder blades. I'll give you some modifications. Eagle is a little bit challenging if you've never done it before, but it's a great stretch. So I'll teach you legs first. You want to ground one leg nicely. Take some deep breaths, get yourself centered, get your core muscles engaged, your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your abs. Right leg is going to come over the left and twist around, and then you come into a seated position. So let me show you before we all do it together. It looks something like this. Now, what if you can't get your foot all the way around? That's pretty common. So you have a couple of options. You can just cross it and come down like this, or don't cross the legs at all and just come into chair, okay? Those are some options. For the arms out to the side, take your right arm over your left, twist it around, and pull down. When you pull down, you'll feel those shoulder blades separate. What if you can't twist your arms around? That's okay too. Take the right arm across your chest, grab the upper part of your arm here, and press. You're still opening those shoulder blades. Now we're going to put it all together, okay? So legs, choose whatever legs you're comfortable with. And arms, and come on down. You can always do this against a wall to help with balance as I wobble. Breathing deeply, making sure all of those muscles are engaged that we talked about. Abdomen, glutes, quads, hamstrings, they're all going to help you balance here. And release the arms and release the legs. Great job. A few deep breaths. We're going to do the other side. Don't be surprised if you can get your leg around on one side and not on the other, or same with the arms. That's pretty common. All right. Get that right leg nice and grounded. Inhale. Wrap the left if you're able. And arms. And come down. Eagle. And release. All right, awesome. Next is warrior three. You can use the wall for warrior three as well. You can put your hands right up against it as you come down like this, or a chair, okay, if you need to. So let's start in a high lunge. I have my right leg forward. Take a few breaths to center. Engage your abdomen. Shift into your front leg. Lift the back. Arms can be out front. They can be out to the side. They can be on your hips. Whatever is comfortable for you works. Warrior 3. And release. It's so cool seeing Megan do this with me because a few months ago when we both started practicing Warrior 3, neither of us could really do it.
Yeah.
And we're both doing it, so it's kind of awesome. All right, and now we're going to come into our high lunge. Left foot forward this time. Few deep breaths. Engage the core. Shift into the front leg and lift the back leg. And release. Awesome. Nice job, girl.
Thanks.
Props to Megan. All right. Next, we're going to open the legs wide. And we're going to come into a wide leg forward bend. I'm going to grab a block just to show you an option in case you would like to use this. If you have a block, that's great. If you don't, you can use anything that raises the floor up. A book, a box. I mean, there's so many things. Whatever you use to raise up the floor is fun. Because that's what blocks do. They bring the floor closer to us. So we're going to come down. And if you are not reaching the floor, you can use your block. And blocks are great because you can use them at all different heights as you're getting closer, okay? If you're on the floor, release your head, your spine, and if you can grab onto your ankles, go ahead and do that. If you can't, just place your hands where they reach. And then bring your hands back to the center. Bring your feet closer together and come down onto your knees. Good. We're going to bring our legs out in front. And we are going to come into a head to knee bend. So your right leg is going to come in towards your pelvis, and we are going to stretch over the left. Grabbing the foot if you're able. If you're not, go as far as you can. If you have a strap and you want to use it here, you can just wrap it around your foot and pull your head closer to your knee. Coming on up and switching, bringing the right leg out straight, left leg in towards the pelvis, and coming down over that right leg. My right leg is a lot tighter today. Mm-hmm. coming up. And now we're going to come into a seated forward fold. So legs come straight out in front of you. And we will start with hinging from the hips and keeping a nice tall straight spine, just shifting forward with a straight back, reaching as far as you can while keeping your back straight. Here's another spot where the strap comes in nice and handy. And then release the spine, let the head go. Grab the ankles or the feet if you're able. You come up from that. The next one, I'm going to give you two options. The first one is a little bit challenging if you've never done it. It's called reclining hero's pose. So I'm going to show you first, so don't try it until you see the whole thing. You're going to start like this and sit down in between your feet, okay? You're going to always put a pillow underneath you if you need to. And then you lie down. You can also put pillows behind you so that you don't lie down so far. Or just sit up in this position. Now, I understand that if you've never done this before, this is not an easy position to just get into. So, an alternative for today is to put your feet together in butterfly and recline back in butterfly, okay? So soles of your feet are together and knees are out. You can choose which one you'd like for today. If you want to learn how to do this and train your body to get into this position, send me a message after class. I've helped so many people enjoy reclining hero's pose. And if you are in reclining heroes or reclined bound angle, you can place your hands on your abdomen or above you, wherever it's comfortable. And supporting yourself coming up, using your forearms and then your hands to support your back. Bringing your hands in front of you and bringing the knees together. And then coming into child's pose to counter that. And the next one is also a challenging pose, not a beginner pose, but great for headache relief. So I will give you two, you can choose, okay? So you can come into bridge and hold bridge. This is the modification pose if you are not going to go into the full plow pose, okay? You can hold bridge. If you would like to try to come into plow, you're going to roll back, and I'll show you in a second. Keep your chin to your chest and your head straight. Don't try to look at me when you get into this pose. You don't want to move your neck. You can really hurt yourself. So watch me first and then get into it if you're going to get into it, okay? You're going to come back and bring the legs over as far as they go. Do not
turn your head. This is plow. Or you can be in bridge. And when you come out of plow, you just want to support your back, slowly roll down your spine. And there you go. The next thing we're going to do is put our legs up the wall for final relaxation.
So the best way to do this, and you don't have to do this, you can just lay flat if you want to, but the best way to do this if you're going to is sit sideways on the wall. Make sure nothing's in your way. Lie down, put your legs up, and then turn. Get comfortable for Shavasana. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Think about the work we did over the last hour. It was definitely a challenging hour. You did so much good for your body. Feeling the breath come into your body, into your lungs, and feeling it exhale. Fill your mind with light, happiness, hope, feelings of security and strength, and soon your life will reflect these qualities. Bringing your awareness back to the room, wiggling fingers and toes, shifting your legs to one side and rolling yourself into a seated position. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. My Facebook page is facebook.com/Valley Yoga. You can catch me there and send me a message or check out what else I have going on. Thanks so much. Bye.